And then there were 3. It's the divisional finals on World of Dance.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
All right, welcome on back to World of Dance here on AfterBuzz TV. I am Kristyn Burtt, and I am so excited because we've got a lot to talk about. I have a couple notes to tie up from last week because I heard back from people. And but before we do all of that, let's introduce my co-host, TK.
The original, by the way. The Fugees weren't the first ones.
Yes.
Look it up. My name is TK Trinidad. You can find me on everything at TK Trinidad. And sadly, it's come to the end of my birth season. If you still want to donate for the Boys and Girls Club, we're still taking donations. You can go on my Instagram at TK Trinidad, Twitter as well, and donate to the Boys and Girls Club. So help those kids out.
That's right. What's up? What's up? I'm Becky Sattero.
I thought you were going to buzz in like a freestyle.
Yeah. The rap will come next week for the season finale, so stay tuned for that. You can find me at Becky Sattero on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Yay!
It's about time.
Hi guys, I'm Amy Cassandra, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at AmyCassandra_TV and AmyCassandra.com.
Fantastic.
Woo.
All right, I just want to tie up a couple loose ends. TK, we missed you last week, but you were at the premiere of Step.
I was.
And I told you were going to cry your face off, did you?
Emotions.
So good.
So not.
I was with the
It's so
ladies,
good.
Blessin and Coach G from Step, the movie, and they're
Nice.
amazing. And they were on Good Morning America today, so you guys can like take a look at
Where
that.
don't you go?
I try to be everywhere.
She's everywhere.
I'm omnipotent. Okay, before we get to the penultimate episode of Divisional Finals, just a couple things. First of all, a lot of people contacted me from World of Dance, and they wanted me to know, after watching our show, that, yeah, I know, people are watching, that Passion, they were like, they got the short end of the stick. They were so good. And they said the producers were all over them all the time, that they thought, like, that Passion was going to be shown throughout the whole thing, and they were so surprised when everything was like 10 seconds, 10 seconds.
Wait, so that was an editing issue then? They didn't know? I mean, we didn't see them at all, so they
we knew that they made it to the cut.
Yeah, but we never saw
We
any
never saw them. But so other contestants thought that they were going to be featured heavily.
Yeah.
At least up until the cut.
Yes.
Because they were like, the producers love them, blah, blah, blah. Isn't that interesting?
So wait,
really
the producers
stinks.
said they thought that they were going to be heavily into the show, and then the editors
No,
figured...
contestants thought.
gotcha.
Fellow
Yeah, see, I was
contestants.
with TK. I was lost
The
on that.
producers
Okay.
were all over them, so it made the other contestants think, oh, Passion is going to be heavily featured.
Got it.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Well, see, and Passion probably thought the same thing.
Right. So
That really stinks.
just thought I'd throw
Trickery.
that out there. I'm hearing that there are going to be more changes. We talked about like possibly a longer season, that the NBC's looking at maybe 2 hours they're looking at. They are also thinking of changing divisions. So there might be some new formatting. There might be more than 3 divisions. So
More.
I'd like that.
yeah, so that might be happening. So just some things that they're toying and playing around with. Again, contestants are being contacted left and right from season 1 to participate and go right to callbacks for season 2. So
Is there a cutoff, do you think? Like, for example, since... I'm trying not to cry, but since my Kinjas are gone, could they possibly be up for their running next year to come back, do you think?
I can tell you this. People that lost in the qualifying, the duels, and the cut have all been
Got
contacted.
it.
I do not know yet of anyone
Okay.
from divisional finals if
Sure.
they've been
Okay.
contacted. So I can at least confirm
Yes,
those
please.
3. Yep. And then I have one note for Miss Becky. Miss Becky,
good
someone
hair.
wanted to let you know that Luca and Jenna Lynn, their piece, there was dance in it, but their piece was so heavily edited, they only showed the tricks.
Oh!
So they had asked NBC to pull out the full routine
Praise baby Jesus.
on YouTube, and they haven't put it up. I mean, they put up the edited pieces on YouTube, but there was a lot. Everyone did a longer
Fabulous.
piece.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I was like, wait a minute, it couldn't...
Yes,
But
I mean,
that's-
I was very hard on them, and I'm sorry to their fans, and I hope there was no hard
Feelings.
feelings
No, but they
about
wanted
that.
to let you know that you were only able to judge on what you saw, and that there was
wonderful.
dance in it.
No, I'm
Yeah.
so glad to hear that, and for the fans who are watching, because so many people I talked to were like, yeah, it's just like a lift routine, and I think just to be respectful to what they choreographed and to them as artists, show the whole dang thing, because that's what we do on this show is we critique what we saw, and so that's
all.
fabulous.
That's all we know. That's the only
Yes.
information we have. But
Good stuff.
So just throwing that out because
Love
we
it.
had a long discussion on that too.
Yes, we
so
did. I feel
I was like, I
really-
just wanted to put a little bow
I
on
love
that.
it. Thank
so
you.
glad they reached out to you.
Thank
Me
you.
too.
Thank you.
I was not trying to be mean. I just
No,
you know.
and I think like it's no.
She's so nice, guys. Seriously, look at this.
She's not really Becky with the good hair.
The mistress.
All right, let's get into the divisional finals because we've got a lot to chat about, and we're going to start off with the team division and the Kinjas. Who wants to get started on that? Go ahead, TK.
We all look at TK, by the way, when you've said that.
I mean, I love the performance. Like, given the climate that we're in, I think a lot of people have to realize that we are all immigrants at one point or another. So I love the story that they told because it was just kind of like together as one we can achieve these goals, not separated. So I love again the whole theme through the whole thing. People who've been winning and moving on is that they're telling a story, whether it's fast or slow. You need some type of story. So definitely loved the storyline. They were so tight. Like, it was almost as if you were to isolate each and every one of them and then just put a counter on them, like they would all be in line. There's maybe like one tiny miss, but it was so minute that's just like, if I was just watching it passively, I wouldn't even like caught it. So it was just an amazing performance, and I always like, again, given the fact that the climate that we're in, just to show that, you know, we're all here, we're all working together. Their parents sacrificed in order for them to be where they are, because this is dance is an amazing thing, but it's also a luxury to have in the country that we're in. So it's just a amazing performance.
It really was. I mean, to counter that, I mean, I have so much to say about the Kinjas, but everyone knows my love for them. They're just so captivating. It was an emotional piece, but I just felt like Swing Latino just brought the performance. I mean, they left everything out on that stage, and I mean, though we saw, you know, the story and the softer side of the Kinjas, it was still perfectly precise. I was all in for Swing Latino. Like they said, they literally brought World of Dance on the stage, and I just. Oh, they were so tremendous.
What did you not like about the Kinjas, maybe?
Ooh, that's tough. I feel like TK said there were a few parts of it where I was like, I need a wow moment. I don't know. I felt like it left a little bit short for me for it to be the divisional finals. I just expected it to be wow, and that's to me what Swing Latino was. Not and their footwork and their I know that the judges said it was a little like it was a little messy, but I just felt like it was perfection.
Yeah, if the Kinjas weren't going up against Swing Latino and it was just a performance, it would be amazing. But with Swing Latino, they also showcased, you know, a storyline.
Yes,
like it was amazing. And also when they had that like table that they were holding. And, you know, like one false step, like a heel off the table, like.
And maybe that's what I love so much too, is the risk. I felt like that whole
It feels
piece
dangerous.
Yes,
Yeah.
that whole
Dance
piece
can
was
be dangerous.
exploding with risk. I loved it.
Well, see, here's the thing. The ninjas. Sorry, American Ninja Warrior. Okay, the Kinjas. I've liked them throughout the whole season. This was the first time that I actually watched the entire thing without, like, trying to refocus, which is great, but there's something to say about making dance look effortless and risk-free, that you feel there was nothing on the line, it was safe. Not to say that it was not difficult at all. I mean, there's no way that, you know, anyone or everyone could do what they're doing.
That precision.
Yeah, but it just was missing something that Swing Latino just brought like nobody's business. I did not see that coming at all.
What's
Really
interesting about the Kinjas this time around, because this performance was very subtle, it was emotional, and what they do, they make it look so easy. So for our eye, we're thinking, they're not doing as
Right.
much. And I almost feel like their first two rounds, if we had shifted those dances, rounds 1 and 2, and put that in 3 and 4, because I almost feel like 3 and 4 would have been better 1 and 2. 'cause
Right.
it would have
100%.
It would have moved them through. But I think 1 and 2 were the
I
bigger
completely
wows.
agree. The first two were just so compelling. They came out so strong, and then I almost feel like they plateaued a smidge. So I felt a little bit was left to be
It's like
desired.
they got caught up too much into the story, and they should have added a wow moment, given the fact that they knew who their competition was. So it wasn't like, okay, we're going to compete and we're going to see where the chips fall. Like they knew they're competing against them. So I don't know.
That was a tough round,
It was
though.
definitely both those competitors. It was just story wise, just amazing stories. And again, it showcases, we're bigger, as a whole.
Well, it showed they both deserved to be there. 100%.
Oh, 100%. And I think the other thing that we don't get to see that I've just kind of learned from talking with everyone, producers would be like, what do you have ready to go? And sometimes they would shuffle the order of the dances. So
What?
yes. So sometimes if you said like, I've got, this dance, the flower one that the Kinjas did, and then they did the screen one. If you have like these 3 or 4 in your portfolio, they may say, we want to do
They're
this
placing
first.
them.
They're placing them.
I don't know.
So
how
you
I
don't
feel.
always.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
But they're trying to make a TV show. So
Of
here's
course.
this is where.
But Keone Amari said they saved this routine for the end.
If you can fight for things, and that's
Got
the thing.
it.
You know what I mean? It's like it's one of those things. Like, how can you fight and say this has to be our last piece
Right.
if we make it this
Sure.
far? Or, and this is what was at war a little bit with World of Dance was dance as an art. And then making a TV show that's
Yeah.
compelling.
The politics.
And so I think for season 2, there's some stuff that they really are going to have to work out. And
Well,
smooth
and
out.
we're clearly, even as a panel, feeling that. Even when we're watching it, all of us are like, we're seeing a little bit of the strategy of the show versus the dancing, which is a little bit of a disappointment.
That's a complete shock to me. I feel like that could really cost people the win.
It could be. It could. And I think some people feel
okay.
like they had one more like dance in their back pocket that they were like, I wanted to do it now, but they wanted. So there is a little bit of that going on. And and I don't think that the producers are like hoping you lose or
Oh,
anything
yeah.
like that. I just think that they're thinking, we need this compelling story for this week, and this is how we're going to do it. So they're just gonna, it's growing pains, and it's stuff that they're gonna have to figure out for season 2.
I think dance makes good television no matter what.
Yeah.
So let the dancers
Yes.
be.
But
I mean-
with so much competition on TV, you almost need that storyline. Like, it's okay. It's like we have all these great acts, but what separates them from any other, dance show that's coming on? So like, you do have that separation. Like, they're amazing, but now you have the storyline. Oh my gosh, he twisted. Like, is he gonna make it? So you
Right.
might not have tuned in last week or the week before, but now you're like, well, subconsciously you're rooting for a certain individual or a certain group, and you figure they were going to make it anyway, so you'll just catch it in, tweets and stuff like that.
Kind of going back to what you said about the structure too, and them picking dances if that's what's happening. I kind of get it too, though, because you can't have. What if 3 acts want to have their emotional piece? You
Right.
have to have the ebb and the
Right.
flow.
Then
So
you feel
I
a
do
lot of
get that.
emotions.
Yeah.
But so here's the thing. I'm wondering if Swing Latino was one of those where it's like, hey, guys, let's save this one for this week. Because honestly, this is the best performance I saw from them. And the song was so nice. And I was like,
It felt like a finale
I'm
piece.
a Latina.
Yeah.
It
But then now they have still one more round. Can they
Pull it out.
can they
That's
pull that
good.
out, or was that their finale piece?
Exactly, and it felt like a finale
No.
piece. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, but I have to say for Swing Latino, their style, and I know Derek was like it was a little bit messier than normal, but I'm like I don't.
I didn't see that
It
either.
was minute if it was messier,
Well, I
but
think it's because there's so many of them too.
there are
You
so
can't
many of
even
them,
keep
and their
track.
style has the ability to look disastrously messy. And I think what's so amazing about them, if you watch, like their lifts are in sync, because oftentimes you see lifts in ballroom and stuff, and they're not in sync, and it just, your eye catches it, and you're
Right.
here and here. They are so well trained on the timing of all of that, and they're moving so fast. It's so impressive.
Well, and their colors, their costumes, it can. I think to the eye, it could be like a little much sometimes. When it might not be the mood, but it might just
Time
be
to talk
something
about
else.
my phone. I'm talking about your phone.
I think you should just answer it and
Yes.
be like, World
Hey!
Hi.
Yes, it's J-Lo calling.
World of Dance After Show. Okay, so Kinja's score was 91, 91, 95. Derek was the 95 there for an average of 92.3. And then Swing Latino was 95, 95, 94 for a total of 94.7. So Derek was just a little bit lower while J-Lo and Neo were higher. So they just kind of switched on that.
Yeah.
I feel like in the past I've been a little too rough on Swing Latino just because
too.
of the costumes. But like I can't even sing my praises enough. They were so great, and just what you were talking about earlier, that each team this week just really brought it. And like you said, the climate that we're in, it was so refreshing to see something like that to highlight the Latinos out there. Woo! And there's, I don't know, just everything together was so powerful that to me, that was one of the best of the night for sure.
Well, and this whole, like, making it even this far, this is life-changing for them. So
Sure.
that's why I'm like, I'm ready for their Vegas show. I'm ready.
I would go watch the heck out of that.
I know. We'll
for
all
sure.
take, like, a field trip and go and
World
do
of
it.
Dance.
Yes. Well, and they'll
Road
have quite the
trip.
market too if you think about that. I mean, they have a huge following.
I would love it.
Huge.
If they could sell some of their costumes too.
The market? Wait, what?
Well, just I feel like Latinos, we need some representation out there in Vegas, right?
I'm like, what? I was like, what market are we going to?
Come on, click in.
I was like, I don't want to go to market. Too crowded.
No, the demographic. Yeah, they're going to be at the Gelson's on Vine on Friday.
Do they show up at Whole Foods?
I know. I was like, I don't want to go.
Do they do Trader
They're just going to
Joe's?
dance down the street and go to different stores.
Well, you know.
No, I'm ready. I'm
Movie.
like, Treasure Island,
Yes,
tropical
yes.
drink, swing Latino. I'm all in.
Sounds
All right, we moved to the upper division, and I feel like we're going to have a lot of discussion on this one, and we had a lot of discussion last week about them. So we have Keone and Mari versus Les Twins. Let's start with Keone and Mari, and everyone's initial thoughts. Amy.
Loved it. So I'm a huge Frank Sinatra fan. Huge. So when they were talking about their first dance song, I was thinking it wasn't going to be Frank Sinatra, even though The Way You Look Tonight is very popular. But they came out black and white.
That, like, after the performance, it threw me off. I'm like, are they going to go
Well,
back to normal
yeah.
color? And then you're like, it's pink. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yes.
I kept looking because, well, coming from production side of TV, I'm thinking, okay, they have all the lights like that. That's what they did.
That's what I thought.
But then you could see the audience in color, and I flipped out for a few seconds there. But it was so amazing, and it brought such a classiness to what they do, which, I mean, they already have. But old school, Fred, Ginger, Gene Kelly, I loved it. I loved it. And the makeup, the eyeliner on Keone.
It was great.
Uh,
I think, too, that I think what's really interesting about them and what works for them is their authenticity. You know that what you're getting out there is genuine. They're not putting on airs. You know exactly who they are. You get what their relationship is. And I think that that's what is delivered, and that's why you feel so much when they're dancing.
Oh, their chemistry is so unmatchable. I mean, on top of them being flawlessly perfect with their choreography, I think it's very rare. I know that Neo mentioned the lift, or
Yeah.
who mentioned the lift?
It's Neo.
Neo. Somebody mentioned the lift was a little off, and I'm like, no.
Derek said it was off, and Neo said
Neo
it was
said it
perfect.
wasn't. Yes,
Yeah.
Derek. So
Really? I thought it was. Anyways.
no,
Because
Neo
Neo
was
gave
one that was
100,
like, no,
yeah.
I disagree. It was great. But I just felt like they are, to my eye, rarely not perfection. And I felt like this was next level. It was strategic to keep this routine
Right.
to the very end. And I don't know. I'm quite honestly a little devastated because I thought they were going to the very end.
Yeah, because even that lift reminds me of, it's like they're so perfect that they add imperfections for you to be like, oh. Because remember the first time they performed when they did that little stumble and you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
like, what did they, was that, and they
Well,
did that on purpose?
Because their moves are so precise that they
Right.
look robotic. So almost when you have those little tweaks where it looks normal, it's like, oh, I like,
Yeah, it's like
takes
you're
your eye.
human. It's like,
Yes.
and I think too, now that I think about it, the Kinjas, that might have been the difference. Like obviously they couldn't have like like as far as speed wise with that Swing Latino, but they actually did something that was less perfection. That might have did the difference. Where it actually shows that, okay, we did this on purpose, guys. It's not like we didn't fall by accident. Like it, they did it in such a way that might have been the difference to adding the element to their performance.
I think what's interesting about Keone and Mari too, I saw them at National Dance Day on Saturday and was able to interview them, and they're so
everywhere.
sweet. I'm everywhere.
I love
If
your
it's dance.
Instagram stories because
Yeah.
that's how I keep up too. I'm like,
Good stuff.
what's Kristyn
Who's
doing?
there?
Yeah.
So I think what was interesting is that for them, they've been known as choreographers, but this opens them up and created a new audience for them as performers, which has been fantastic. They will be back on So You Think You Can Dance this season, so they will be choreographing. It's been a few seasons since they've been off. But I don't know if people followed up from last week's performance. Mari wrote a very revealing and honest just story behind the scenes of what happened with that dance and what it was about. But she
This current dance as well?
the one from last week
Okay,
with all
gotcha.
of the
The
ties
the
and
bands,
everything,
uh-huh.
the bands. Just that she is suffering from depression quite a bit. She's got it under control now, but they talked about the dark time in their life, and she was self-harming, and her husband didn't really know about it because she had done it as a teen and then got it under control, and then they got married, and she was like, and he didn't know how to deal with it, and he was shutting her down. and they were in Amsterdam working, so they had no family and friends around them. So it's a long post. It's a very honest one, and I was like, good for her for talking about
that's
it. 'Cause
some real talk right there.
when it comes to mental health, this country shuts
Yes.
down all the time. So I'm interested. I'll be talking with them later in the month. So I'll announce when that date is once we have it like 120% confirmed, but it's about 100% confirmed at this point. But I just hearing their story, I think, is going to be important.
Oh, they just show so many shades. Just hearing that story again with what they performed this week. I mean, they just show every single layer of life. It's really hard to find that. And
I'm gonna miss him so much.
Yeah.
I'm so sad.
I'm going to tell a really quick National Dance Day story. So they were leading the National Dance Day routine and everything, and they warmed everyone up, the physical warm up, and then they were like, okay, everyone, like, meet someone you've never met before, then find out their favorite ice cream, and then find out their favorite dance styles, and then like go back and like everybody did it, and it was a bunch of kids. So you're looking at like a bunch of like 8-9-year-olds. It was really sweet, and it was a great moment. Stop. But I
TK's
think
not
like
having
for that, I know she's like,
give me my bubble.
It is sweet, but it's just like that every time we had to do that, it was just so awkward. It's like,
It felt forced.
yes.
Yeah.
Like I get it, but it's just me and my problems.
Yeah, in the moment, it worked
issues.
really well for what it was, and I think it just showed that it wasn't just about like we're just here to show up and dance and that kind of thing. So.
They were making a personal
Yeah.
connection.
Making a community, friendships.
Love it.
That's what dance is about, for sure.
Oh,
I just
I know, I'm
can't.
sad.
I know.
I don't like what happened this week. I don't.
Well, and here's the funny thing of like the Snapchat show finally comes to rear its ugly head.
Because you mentioned it a couple weeks ago.
I did, and
was it
Laurent
like
got
3 weeks
injured.
ago or something?
It
Yeah.
It
was.
was, yeah.
So
Yeah.
Laurent
3
gets
weeks.
injured during the battle, and now it plays into the actual story. Listen, Les Twins are fierce competitors. I knew they were going to go out there no matter what.
Oh, they put together a fantastic piece. I mean, again, I know we've been hard on Les Twins, and that's because of how incredible they are, but they put together, I mean, think about the injury and how that was. I think when we were watching it, I saw your face and you were like, okay. I mean, it's just like they put together, that shows their professionalism.
Yeah.
It shows how good they really are, that they can choreograph something so flawlessly and effortlessly and perform it with his injury. I was blown away, honestly.
I feel like some people, and I felt that way too, but that's more editing. That might not have been them per se. You felt like they used the story to their advantage, but that could have been editing. And the thing is, on a flip side, as a viewer looking at that, or even as a young kid looking at that, you're gonna look at that as like, okay, well, this guy like twisted his leg. And you could say, oh, well, I can't do it today. Like, and, just give them the money because they still are traveling. They're well known. It's not like technically, like, I mean, I don't know their bank account, but they're not living on the street.
You're not saying it's the end of the world,
Right.
literally.
So
yeah.
it's just like they could have backed out, but they chose not to. So even on the testament of that storyline, as people watching that, that's a
Well,
great.
it's the spirit of competition, right?
So it is definitely how they played it and the editing. Again, obviously I wasn't there. Maybe you can do some digging. But how they played it out, it just made it very cheesy and campy, opposed to the raw.
Absolutely, but I want to give credit to the actual, routine and the creativity and what they executed. I mean,
my gosh,
yes,
that's
it was
amazing.
packaged very
Cleverly.
very cleverly, but
In that breakdown that they had when Laurent's in the wheelchair and Larry's behind him, and the breakdown of them like moving in sync. It was
when the beat drops,
you're just like that's classically twins. Like they got it, and who cares if there's a wheelchair? Like honestly,
Yeah, you couldn't even. At one
know.
point, you couldn't even see the.
It didn't
Yeah.
even bug you.
Yep.
Well, see, and I did write kudos because they did take something that was difficult. And of course, I mean, Laurent was immobile because, injury. And I was thinking, is he going to stay in one position the whole time? Like, is he going to be propped up somewhere and then do something else? And so, I mean, maybe you guys were thinking wheelchair before,
Right.
But then you put him there, you make him mobile, and it's like he has another leg,
Right.
And it's fine, and it worked. It was cool. But now I'm wondering, I mean, he had hurt his ankle leg 2 days before. You're telling me that they came up with that exact routine like within 2 days, or did they have that and they just had to tweak it?
I think they, I with that particular relationship, because they're like, this is the relationship. So you have the bond of husband and wife, and they've been together for, you know, X amount number of years. Then you have the brotherly bond of twins. They were in the womb together.
Right.
So I feel, and that this is their profession. I feel like they have a lot of go-to moves, and it's easier for them because they've been performing for so long that you can take something and create something in a matter of, you know, 30
Hours.
minutes.
And
or
that's also
hours.
why they're two of the best in the
Right.
world, is because they're that good.
Right.
I'd like to believe that.
Yeah.
So.
It's like if you take anything that you're an expert on, like say you've been dancing a particular style for years, and somebody, it's not necessarily competition wise, but somebody's like, you know what, I'm going to need you to perform this in less than a day. If you've been doing this for 10, 15 years, like automatically, it
natural.
comes naturally.
package
You
it.
can package something. If you took a break, like 5 years, it's going to take a little, you're going to need more to perfect it and then actually build the confidence. But they already have the confidence. They have that the camaraderie. They've been together forever. So I think they just took that and they, you know, kind of created around an element that might have already been there.
Yeah, and I mean, without dissecting it too much, I think that I almost just want to take it at that. You know what I mean? Like, we could dissect it. Oh, somebody gave them an idea and this and that. Who cares? Like, they executed it flawlessly.
And we don't know the time frame. That's the other
Exactly.
thing. There was the way the taping was, and from what I've heard from everyone, sometimes they had a week, sometimes they had 4 days. It just, their schedule was weird because they were working around J-Lo's schedule. So the taping sometimes was all over the map. But I think we'll probably be talking about this battle for a while. You know, it's some people are going to say Keone and Mari were robbed. Other people are like, of course it was Lay Twins that won. I think you can argue for both sides, honestly.
Oh yeah, definitely with this one.
What do you
I agree.
guys
And the
think?
fact that it's not one thing that he didn't just sit there. The fact that he wasn't even like, you know, rolling, like he was taking steps while in the wheelchair. Like, I don't know if you guys ever been in a wheelchair before. Like you have to like roll, and he was doing it with one leg.
Yeah, he was guiding it with his
he's
other
guiding it
good
with
leg.
his foot, and then also like dancing, but he had to be in a certain position. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just gonna roll here and then do a couple.
Well, and
moves.
also, like,
Like, it wasn't-
well, and think about how restricting that is to being in that chair. So I just, you know, all of it would not have been easy. You know, he's probably jumping out of his skin wanting to get out of the chair. Oh, it was amazing.
But it's going to be interesting to see in the final round. I mean, I don't think the injury is going to play into this. I feel like this was a small tear. He rested it, and, you know, he's on his way
and
for
just
the
a
finals.
shot for the cortisol, and you're good to go.
Yeah, that's all he needs. But I feel like here's the one thing. I feel like we've been set up for Lay Twins to win. So either they win easily, or we have a major surprise winner.
Well, we'll find out.
But I almost feel like, how does World of Dance not walk away with Lay Twins as the winner in some ways?
Eva Igo.
Yeah, I mean, I
go, right?
to go back in now.
dark
Now
horse.
we're moving into our junior. Like, Eva to me is just.
Well, I want
Absolute
to let me
perfection.
just go back so we have the scores for people that are on podcasts so they know. The scores for Keone and Mari were 100, which was for Neo, and then 90 and 95. So their average was 95. And then for Lay Twins, you've got 99, 99. That was J-Lo and Neo, and then 95 from Derek. So Derek essentially tied them. He couldn't figure it out. He's like, great, you each get a 95.
Yeah.
So, and their average was 97.7.
What if they tied? I wonder what the rules. You need to find that out. What if there's a tying score? I mean, it seems very impossible because of just how everything is played out. But what if that were to happen? Like both teams get
I will
91.
Definitely
Dance
ask, because
off.
I know dance off would be
Off.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I have
Season
both-
2 idea.
I have Matt Everett and Dave Gonzalez. They are the creators and CEO of World of Dance. They created the tour, and then they're executive producers on the show. They're coming on my show next
Ooh,
week.
that's
so
gonna be amazing.
I have like a list of like, this is what I've heard, this is what I've heard, this is what I've
Yes.
heard. What's true? I hope they are ready.
Yay,
If
that's
you
gonna
don't
be
know,
good
now
stuff.
you know she's doing.
Oh, I have a list at home that's like running from like what I've heard.
Don't have
backstage.
any skeletons in your closet, guys.
Don't do it. Don't do
Give
it.
the fans what they want.
All right, now let's move into juniors. Dianna versus Eva. Let's kick it off with Dianna.
If they told Dianna to end with this performance, then they did her an incredible disservice.
Yes.
I feel like throughout the whole competition, like I said a few minutes ago, it's all about storylines. And even though she tried to tie in a storyline with this, it didn't translate. This is the one time where you need some type of emotion, whether it would be fast or slow. This one was just like, oh, I'm gonna just, be a kid and this and that. It's like, no, because this is a competition, and it's fun to see the childlike in the performance, but
It felt juniorish.
yeah.
Oh, I feel like she went backwards on this.
Yeah.
Again, a performer where kind of in the beginning, the first couple dances that she performed was just executed perfectly. The storyline was there. The, ferocity was there. Like, she was incredible. And this did not feel at divisional final caliber whatsoever. So I agree with you. If somebody tailored this, I know you have the choreographer, right?
Yeah, Jojo Gomez choreographed it.
But I'm just saying, like, if somebody altered that, because I don't think it's anything against the choreographer, but if somebody altered the storyline, you're right, they did her such an injustice.
Because it feels like you get to this point, and it's just like you compare and contrast the people who've been moving on. And to me, it seems like the people who've been moving on are the ones who have a very strong storyline.
And I couldn't have agreed more that her emotions were completely contrasting her storyline.
I was like, is she okay?
Yeah.
Because
Well, she said she wanted to bring fun, and that I didn't see fun on her
it was
face
sad,
at all.
except for that one little moment where she did smile.
Yeah.
I think, it's interesting too. A lot of the dance community has been talking about the Dianna versus Eva, and most of the working dancers in LA prefer Dianna because she was an old soul. They're like, that emotion that comes out of her is so deep. And I'm like, and she went a little bit lighter with this piece. And so I think everything that we've loved from her and why we love her, we kind of lost that.
It.
Where then Eva then finally dug deeper where she needed to and delivered. And
Yes,
and you also have to think too, and I forget this about Dianna all the time, she's 11.
Right.
And so at 11, knowing that you're in the divisional finals competing against a 14-year-old, 11 to 14 is a big gap.
Right.
That's sixth grade and freshman year of high school.
I forget. In a weird way, my brain almost flips them in terms of age. Because like you said, Dianna feels like an old soul to me. So I just see her as the older one, but...
See, I wonder if the strategy was to go completely opposite than Eva, because Eva's
Fierce.
Yes. So if that was the case,
Ferocious.
that's the wrong turn to take, because instead of flipping sides, you need to go like deep
Well,
down.
who was the performer, the three sisters with the couch?
The
Mahasevich.
Mahasevich.
They had a very childlike performance. However, that performance was still very impactful because they were telling a story.
And joyful.
mature.
And it was joyful. So if she had did something like that, where it's just like, I'm going to, showcase beyond dance what I do, and she had a couch and she had something television, she had some type of something like that, then it would have worked out. But it just seemed like it was like Alice in Wonderland meets.
It didn't showcase her talent. Do you guys feel that way? Like, I just feel like we saw more of her talent in the first couple.
I wanted a moment of silence, like a moment of, because she was all over the stage. It was a lot of energy, and I was like, I just wanted like
Breath.
and then I think that would have actually grounded her. She needed to be grounded because it was a lot of
And the mushrooms were in the way. Did not see the point of them at all. I mean, I get it, the story out, someone but there was no point to them.
It got lost.
It's just like it was just there. It's like, oh, this is supposed to be Alice in Wonderland in some way, shape, or form, but
Such a shame.
And I think she knew it. When she saw the 80s and the two groups before her were getting 90s, when she saw the 80s, I think she knew even before seeing Eva's performance that she lost it.
The good news, though, is that Dianna is everywhere.
And she's 11.
And
Yeah,
she's
and she's
11,
11.
but
My
she's here in LA right now. She's at Dancerpalooza in Long Beach this week, and she's on the World of Dance tour. So she is
11.
Everyone loves her, and she's a superstar. So
she's good to go. It's just like if anybody directed her, then they did her a disservice.
She's got such a
Like
huge
if they told her
future
to
in front
do
of her.
one thing, and she's like, okay, well they know what they're doing, so I'm gonna go with that. And then her and her choreographer planned it according to that. Then, that I would be incredibly pissed at that producer or somebody who told me that. But if they made it on their own, then you just
we don't know sort of
eat
the
crow
behind the
and then-
scenes on that one.
Yeah.
I'd be interested though, just
she's
what was
gonna do her
influenced.
digging.
If I see Dianna, I know.
Well, nevertheless, I mean, she's going
She's
places.
amazing.
Like
Yeah,
at 11,
she's a doll.
I was
She's so
playing
sweet.
roller hockey in front of my house at 11. You know what I mean? Like, she's killing the game.
She's on a national TV show.
Yes.
NBD.
Yes. And then we go to Eva Igo.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this was
A one-woman show.
wonderfully beastly performance, the one you just dig deep and you do and
Fight.
Yep.
Yeah. It's almost like if she could have done, as she's doing it, I think she could have done "I'm a Survivor," the Destiny's Child song. She could the performance is great. I'm not even saying you should change the music, but it's just kind of like it was one of those performances where if she added that element in it, it would have been
That's the song that you had. Playing?
Yeah, that would have been like, pretty much F y'all. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do in order to win. And I'm crushing all competition.
She did. She showed growth, which is what they want to see from beginning to end. She like J-Lo said, from beginning, her very first performance to this one, totally different dancer, different personality. She did exactly what she needed to do. It was, like I said, I would go and see her dance.
Oh,
a one-woman show.
She said, she's like, I'm feeling so much more confident.
Yeah.
Like you could feel it, you could see
See
it
it.
in the way she was walking and dancing and
Oh yeah, like gangster lean, and then the smile at the end, bitches.
Yes. That was a mic drop for a show.
Done. Next.
so good. I didn't even write anything about her.
Me
performance.
neither.
I
I wrote literally perfection one-woman show.
I wrote, dang, girl.
It was just one of those. I was like, I don't
Yeah.
even need to. It's already here in my head. But scoring on that, so Dianna was 90, 89, 89 for 89.3. And then Eva Igo was 96, 97, 97
I
for
thought there'd be
96.7.
200s in there.
Oh,
I'm not
for
going to lie.
sure.
I did
Yeah.
too. I go, how many 100s are in there? But none.
They
was-
didn't get it. We got it.
Yeah, it was flawless.
She was such a rock star. She looked like in a good way, a grown woman putting on a freaking show.
Yep.
It's like the I don't know if I think I've only watched first season, but I need to watch it. Anyways, Vikings. In that show, the women are Vikings and are fighters too. So it felt like, I don't know where she pulled the theme from, but it felt like in some cultures, the women fought alongside the men. So it
Like
felt
Amazon.
like, yeah.
Yes, very
So
She's
it's
from
very
Minnesota. They have Vikings there in the football team.
Yes, they do.
Oh, I'm like, I was like, wait, they have what?
Yes.
I was like, Vikings are still around.
No,
I'm like, no, the football team.
You guys, she destroyed it. I think it's
Yeah,
going to be.
it's amazing
She's going to be the one to beat. I believe. I know we think Lay Twins are set up to win, but I
Right.
think that she showed tonight that she's
Well,
the one to
I'd
beat.
be totally okay with it.
Storyline. If they all can come up with great storylines.
And what if they do like a third place and you wind up with, let's just say Swing Latino in third, and then you put like the little one against like the
The
giants
beast.
again.
No, it's literally David and Goliath moment
again.
for sure. Yep.
I don't know.
I really want to know who you guys want to win. Not who is
Prediction.
going to,
Boom,
but
boom,
who do you guys?
I want at this point Eva Igo after tonight. That was just fun.
I don't know. I kind of want to say Eva, but it's so I'm like thinking of like long term. Like she's 11 or she's 14.
14.
Sorry. So I feel like even she takes this L, like she's experienced and
A runner-up.
done yeah, it's still fun. But I kind of feel like Swing Latino has been through so much to get to this point, and they're not necessarily on the world stage as the Lay Twins. If they were to pull out something very like totally different what they've done, but equally as amazing,
That could be fun.
they could
That could be fun.
definitely
I'd bawl
take
my
it.
eyes out for that.
Right.
Yeah. So it's
That
just
could be
kind of
fun.
like, like I definitely like I'm feeling Eva, but I kind of feel like as far as chances go, I'd almost want the Swing Latino because it
Right.
feels like they can still tour, but if they were to win this might be a game changer life-wise for all 25, 30,
Well, and for
40
the
people
show.
on
Yeah.
the
for the
team.
show too, because I think
Yeah.
people are kind of expecting who's
Lay
going to
Twins.
win. But I'm
Right.
team EI.
Yeah. How about you?
I'm more with TK
Swing
because
Latino.
I want
with this
Eva to win just because she's a freaking rock star. But I think that Swing Latino would really benefit, and they would take it to new heights. Not that Eva wouldn't,
Right.
but Eva's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
And the
She's
twins are
good.
going to be fine,
Right.
and
They're
but
all
yeah,
gonna be
for Swing
fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
but for Swing Latino, you just know it's going to make a massive
Yeah.
difference in their life.
Like families, and again, I don't know what their
Yeah.
I don't know what their bank account. They might be balling for all I know, but just on another level as far as people going to see them and
And
know
the
that-
impact.
like I knew
That's
who
what it
Lay
is.
Twins were because of
Right.
Beyonce, so it's just kind of like as far as that.
It'd be fun for them to have this title.
Yeah.
I
We just
agree.
want to see you guys
That would be amazing.
live.
We do have to wrap up, you guys. But TK, this is your last episode.
Oh.
We're gonna miss you.
Can we cue in? It's so hard to say goodbye.
Dramatics.
It's been a great
not
season
dying,
with you.
guys.
I
I'm
know.
just going to
Say goodbye.
Canada.
Cue it.
It's so hard
God.
to. I don't know.
I was like, please don't start singing, everyone. But just great working with you this season.
Same here,
Your
same
insight
here.
has been always appreciated.
Yeah, I try.
Oh, TK.
Well, tell everyone where they can find you.
Oh, well, you can find me in Canada, so I'll be there for
Yes.
5 days.
Yes.
But you can find
Alright.
me on. Did you say A?
Oh, yeah.
So
You guys are saying I'm a hockey player. You guys love some hockey, right? Don't leave me hanging. Don't leave me hanging. Yeah, I got it. Oh.
What is?
Are they playing music? Okay.
terrible. Anyway, you can find me on everything at TK Trinidad. Like I said, we are also coming to the end of my birth season. I'm pretty sad about that too. But I did have a charity event raising money for the Boys and Girls Club of Canada and America. So if you want to donate, really appreciate it. It's going to end next Tuesday. So really appreciate you to do that. And you can find me on everything at TK Trinidad.
Amy.
Oh, well, I'll be here next week, so you guys can see me there too. But yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at AmyCassandra_TV and AmyCassandra.com.
Woo! Find her. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Becky Sattero.
Actually, somebody said they want to see Twitch.
Ooh!
Let's see Twitch on season 2.
Yes! Who is that? Props.
Sadie Bunny.
Sadie, Bunny for the win. I would love to see Twitch.
Oh my God, with his shirt off,
Do
please.
it. We're all in. We're all in.
Or
for that
Sadie,
season.
Allison, and their daughter, Wesley. Boom!
And their
Family
son,
affair.
We just
All right,
said-
all right,
All
just
right.
Twitch.
And with that, we are going to wrap up. I'm at Kristyn Burtt on Twitter, the Kristyn Burtt on Instagram. We will see you all next week for the World of Dance Finals. Thank you for joining us here on AfterBuzz TV.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.